Hey YouTube, welcome back to Derek's Workshop. If this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by. If you like this video, if you want to see some work done with this welder, maybe consider subscribing. It's pretty much going to be my primary welder over the next, well, for as long as I can tell for now. It is the Forney Easy Weld 140 MP. It's a multi-process welder. It does TIG, stick, and Mig. I have gas for Mig, I have Flux Core wire, and I have sticks. I do not have TIG. I do not have a TIG torch or gas for TIG welding, so I'm sorry that that's going to be left out from this introduction. But I just kind of wanted to show what it does and kind of offer a few points and reasons why I bought it that will just kind of give you a brief overview, an idea of maybe why you might want to buy this unit. Not that this is the review, because it's certainly not. I need to put some time in with this. This is just going to be an introduction. I've just got two pieces of 1/8 inch bar stock here that I'm going to weld together and just do some fillet welds and just kind of describe why I picked this unit up and why I think it's a good unit as I go along. Okay, so I just did a couple of tack welds on here just to hold up the angle here, the piece of flat bar on top of the other piece. So I'm going to run about halfway. This is 030 wire running on the Forney suggested, the little chart for what settings to put your welder at. This is basing it right off of those. So I'm going to do some welding. Just going to go about halfway and see how it turns out. So that actually turned out looking pretty nice. I definitely got good penetration. You can see the line on the bottom. I would not doubt that that is sitting most of the way inside. I'm not a perfect welder by any means, but most people that are going to be interested in this machine probably aren't either. And so that's my MIG weld. I'm going to do a Flux Core weld on this side, and I left myself this entire side to do stick welding because I'm really not a very good stick welder at all. So I'm going to go ahead and do the stick welding next. I've never actually even used these rods, let alone even welded with the 5/64 inch electrodes. So these are Lincoln 6013s. I actually just picked them up today, and I think that for the power and everything that this machine has and the settings, it might be just about right for this. I'm not 100% sure, and again, I'm not really a very good stick welder. I've just started recently, and I really don't spend a lot of time even practicing it, so you'll just have to, I guess, take the results for whatever they end up being. So my travel speed's definitely too fast at the beginning. It is pretty hot, but so I don't know how long I'll be able to hold it, but the travel speeds were pretty fast in the beginning. Like I said, never even ran that diameter of electrode before. That size is actually brand new to me, but I might go ahead and give it another try just on this last part here. Getting too hot. I'm gonna clean it off, then I'll show you again. I mean, that was pretty much complete crap. Okay, so I wanted to try to redeem myself a little bit, and I think under the slag there is a half decent weld bead. So there we go, not a perfect weld bead. This is the 5/64 electrode, and this is the 1/8 inch, both 6013. Not perfect, a little inconsistent, but I'm still learning, and that's not a bad weld, I think, for a learner. Yeah, I just have a lot of practice to do with the stick welding. I'll definitely get better, but that is a little bit of redemption, I think. All right, the workpiece has had a chance to cool down now because I switched back over to Flux Core. So we got 030 Flux Core wire. I'm just gonna run a bead over here. So here is both the wire feed processes. Here's Mig. It looks okay, definitely not my best Mig weld, but I'm also brand new at Mig Welding. And then the Flux Core, also not my best Flux Core weld, but I'm not really new at that. And I'm getting to the point to where I think I can read a puddle of Flux Core. Whoop, almost lost it. Pretty well these days. I think I can start making pretty regular, good-looking welds, but you have stick, which is nasty because of me, and the wire feed. So not bad. So I just want to run over some of the details of the unit and give you some of the reasons that I picked it up. The first, we'll just touch on the warranty real quick. It's got a 30-day warranty on basically everything you see, including that. And then it's got a 1-year warranty on everything on the inside. So my assumption is that means if anything breaks, control knobs, wire drive mechanism, anything like that, then you've only got 30 days. But they're going to guarantee that the welder itself will work. Basically, it will create an electrical arc for you on your workpiece for 1 year, which is a decent warranty in my opinion, especially for this kind of price point for the internal controls. But it's kind of a bummer for the outside. But so it supposedly goes from 43 amps to 110 amps. I'm not sure where the 140 comes from, because I think that at one point I assumed that that meant that it did 140 amps. It says it has up to a 1/4 inch plate thickness. I think that depends. And it's got decent duty cycles. It's got 30% stick at 80 amps, 30% MIG at 90 amps, and 30% TIG at 110 amps. So, I mean, nothing really spectacular or special, kind of what you would expect out of a unit this size, but decent nonetheless, considering, you know, it could be worse. But I certainly didn't buy it for the duty cycle. I've got this little Century FC90 right here that I have never hit the duty cycle on, and I have ran really long beads, and I don't think that it's any better. So I guess that whole point is I didn't buy this necessarily for the duty cycle. Wasn't really concerned about that. What I was mostly concerned about is being able to do TIG and MIG off of one unit. Down below here, you can barely see it. Where's my finger? Right there is a 160 amp stick welder that I bought a little while ago. So it wasn't necessarily specifically for the stick function, but I'm actually kind of glad that it's there, just because I think it's a neat feature that they added that to it. So that's not even really the biggest reason why. The biggest reason why I purchased this unit is because I felt like for the money that I was going to be spending, there wasn't a better unit out there for less money that offered as much functionality as this. There are definitely cheaper MIG welders out there. I specifically wanted a MIG welder, but this has the infinitely controllable dials, which I did see a couple of MIG welders that were cheaper than this that had the selector switch of like 4 heat settings, which I don't think is the makings of a very good welder. I think that just screams cheapness, and I just wasn't interested in something like that. I wanted to be able to fully control it, and basically through all my research, when looking for a MIG welder, this offered the most value for the price paid, even though I didn't necessarily need the stick function. Another huge reason why I picked it up was the ability to hold 10-pound spools. I think that's a really nice feature. And so it'll do 1, 2, and 10-pound spools of gasless and solid core wire. And the other reason is that right there, the all metal wire drive mechanism, which a lot of people preach is signs of a better quality unit. And I pretty much agree. Not that I'm a professional of any kind, but I think that that's a really nice feature that has that all metal wire drive mechanism.